Hey there, music world. John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest record from Sleaford Mods, a Nottingham-based duo. They have been at it for a while now with a very abrasive punk style. It's very minimalist, it's very spoken word, and it is very intense. The name of the new album is The Demise of Planet X. You know, back in the day when I first heard Sleaford Mods, they were one of those bands that just hit me immediately with their sound. It was so unique. Jason Williamson, Andrew Fern, they were bringing to the table this very skeletal, confrontational sound that was just so spit in your face and raw. Their original line of mixtapes like the Megaton and their self-titled record, and the originator, which is so unapologetic, so raw. It felt so dangerous and just such a streamlined, spit in your face sound of punk that just I felt like wasn't happening at that time. Even records like Spectre just hit so hard. They were just so hypnotic to me. But once they started polishing things up in the studio more with records like Austerity Dogs, I heard a lot of more cracks in their sound all of a sudden. The aggression was still locked in to a T, but I don't know, the magic for me wasn't there anymore. But with Divide and Exit in key markets, they did lock in a lot more. You know, these albums, while I didn't appreciate them at the time, do show them changing things up just enough. Honestly, I think is a good diving in point if you're new to the band too. Man, around that time though, things for me started to change in a much worse way. Albums like English Tapas and Eaten Alive, or at least the majority of it, just were not my speed at all. Now, their last two records, Spare Ribs and UK Grim, I did think they kind of showed flashes of brilliance, but I also started to worry, like, could their sound be pushed much further? Which leads me to their next record, this latest record, I should say, which leading up to it, I wasn't that excited or hyped for. But as I kept hearing more and more of the singles, I've been more and more impressed, and I will say, at least for me, this is a really great studio medium for them. Good Life kicks this album off, and honestly, I think this is just a really great track all around. I think it's a great intro to this album's sound, and not only that, but as far as a single goes, I'm digging this more than a lot of the other quote-unquote singles they've put out over the years. It's hypnotic, it's raw, and surprisingly unhinged. I mean, that looping riff that we get here really does a great job of drawing you in, and the big special feature here is simply unnerving. Gwendolyn Christie on this track sounds absolutely unhinged, and Jason's performance is really pissed off. I love the way that Double Diamond creeps along. It's sort of jazzy and off-kilter, and Jason's performance on this track is fantastic. Also, really do love the Elitist G.O.A.T single featuring Aldous Harding. This track just keeps things very focused, very raw, but I do really love how Aldous brings her sort of brand of whimsicality to the table here. It gives this track a lot of depth. It works out better than I expected, honestly, and I do really love the Megaton single too. This is one of the punkiest and gnarliest cuts here. It's nothing fancy, but it's really effective. And No Touch I really enjoy as well. This one brings me back to their early days where they sounded like two weirdos, you know, sampling old soul mixtapes and just going off over them. And Sue Thompson's sort of bubbly and awkward performance on this track really does bring a great contrast to the table. It rules. This whole stretch to me just felt like Sleaford Mods not doing anything fancy, but at least kind of sounding like themselves in the studio. And no, maybe not as loud or as in your face as some of those early mixtapes, but still pretty close to it. So much so that of their more polished releases, you know, this is probably my favorite one. Unfortunately, the album isn't completely airtight. There are some misses in here. Like Gino Was, for example, this one sounds really rushed and rehashed and almost goofy at points in a way that kind of just breaks through the tension here. Blood the Zone just feels really flimsy. I don't know, it just kind of strips away any of the tension that this album built up for me. And Kill List actually has a beat that I really do appreciate, but the production kind of falls apart here. Not only that, but Jason's performance really isn't up to snuff either, nor is the snowy guest verse that we get. Outside of that, though, I really like this project. And for me, you know, as far as their more studio-produced records goes, this is my preferred one. Bad Santa isn't anything new or wild from the band, but it's just so direct. It's slow, it's gritty, and Jason's performance is really locked in here. I really do love the title track as well. This is just a really great example of some electro-punk. I mean, yeah, it is a little cleaner than what they were doing years ago, but still, this sounds great. Don Draper, I think, is the best deep cut here, honestly. It's jazzy, it's grimy, and Jason sounds fed up in the best way. And I love shoving the images as well. I love the sort of gritty sci-fi sound of this track. Also get one of Jason's most explosive performances of this entire record here. So, you know, this album isn't a reinvention, and it's certainly not Sleaford Mods at their absolute rawest either. But when it works, I feel like this is the band like really finding their footing. There's some real highs here, some of my favorite cuts that the band has put out in years. And no, it's not airtight, and I still, you know, wonder in the back of my mind, like, how much further can this sound possibly be pushed? But for right now, I think the duo sound great. You know, I know like a lot of people aren't vibing on this record right now, but personally, I am. I really love the hell out of a lot of this record. I'm feeling a very strong 7 on this one, but let me know what you all think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.